Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the city as I pulled up to my wife's office building, the excitement bubbling in my chest. It was our anniversary, and I had planned the perfect surprise. I'd spent days thinking about how to make the day special, from a heartfelt card to a stunning bouquet of her favorite flowers. Today was supposed to be a celebration of love, commitment, and the years we had shared. But as I stepped out of my car, an unsettling feeling settled in the pit of my stomach. Walking into the sleek lobby, I approached the receptionist, a young man with a mischievous glint in his eye. He looked up from his screen as I approached, his smile almost too broad. "Here for someone special?" he asked, barely containing a chuckle. "Yeah, my wife, Emily. It's our anniversary." I couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm, oblivious to the undercurrent of something wrong. The receptionist's smile faltered for just a moment, and a shadow passed over his face. "She's in her office," he replied, his tone oddly measured. I brushed off the hint of unease and made my way to her office, clutching the bouquet tightly. With each step, my heart raced a little faster. I imagined her face lighting up when she saw the flowers, the way she'd lean in for a kiss, the sweet scent of love and happiness enveloping us. As I reached her office door, I paused, taking a deep breath. "Happy anniversary, babe," I muttered to myself, pushing the door open with a flourish. The scene that greeted me shattered my anticipation like glass. Emily was on her knees, her hair cascading down her back, half naked, as a man stood before her, lost in a moment of intimacy that should never have been shared. My breath caught in my throat, and time seemed to freeze. Anger surged through me, hot and immediate, boiling over like a pot left unattended. "What the hell?" I shouted, the shock reverberating through the air. The man jerked back, surprise etched on his face, and Emily's head whipped around, her eyes widening in horror as they locked onto mine. "James," she gasped, scrambling to pull herself together, the moment unraveling like the fragile fabric of our marriage. "What the fuck is going on here?" I demanded, the flowers slipping from my grip and scattering across the floor. Each bloom seemed to mock me, a symbol of the betrayal I was witnessing. "Please, let me explain." Emily stammered, her voice shaky. "Explain what?" "How you've been screwing around while I'm out here planning a surprise for you." My fists clenched at my sides, the rage surging through me like wildfire. "James, it's not what it looks like," she insisted, standing now, trying to cover herself with a blazer hastily pulled from a chair. But the image was burned into my mind, the two of them, the way they had been lost in a world that didn't include me. The man, realizing the gravity of the situation, slipped out the door, leaving us in a thick silence. My heart pounded in my chest as I stepped further into the office, the air thick with tension and unspoken words. "This is how you repay me. After everything we've been through." My voice was low, but the venom laced in my words made it clear I was done with her excuses. "I was going to tell you. I swear." Emily pleaded, desperation coloring her tone. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far." "How long?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, dread creeping into my gut. "Just a few months," she admitted, tears welling in her eyes. "A few months?" I echoed, incredulous. "And you thought it would be okay to continue this while pretending everything was fine between us?" "I was confused," she said, her voice rising in pitch. "I didn't know how to handle it." I shook my head, the betrayal cutting deeper than any physical wound. "You've handled it by being unfaithful and lying to my face. I've given you everything, Emily. Everything." As the reality of her infidelity washed over me, I realized this wasn't just about the affair, it was about the lies, the deceit, the shattered trust. The woman I had loved was now a stranger, and the life we had built felt like a mirage fading into the distance. "I can't believe you," I said, my voice steely. "You've ruined our marriage. And now I will make sure you regret this." The look in her eyes shifted from desperation to fear, and in that moment, I knew I was ready to enact my revenge. I would ruin her life just as she had shattered mine. I would make her feel the weight of betrayal, and I would walk away with my head held high. "James, please, don't do this," she whispered, her voice trembling. But it was too late for pleas and apologies. I turned on my heel and walked out of her office, the cold reality of our situation settling in my bones. The reception area fell silent as I passed the receptionist, who now wore a look of pity. I didn't care. I was filled with a cold resolve. I was done being the victim. This was just the beginning. The cold air hit me as I stepped outside, my heart still racing from the confrontation. I took a moment to gather my thoughts, the weight of betrayal pressing heavily on my chest. The parking lot was empty, and the late afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows that mirrored the darkness creeping into my heart. I slid into my car, hands gripping the steering wheel. I had no idea how I was going to confront Emily again, but I knew one thing for sure: she had made her choice, and now I would make mine. I wouldn't let her get away with this. Not without a reckoning. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through my contacts until I found Jake, my best friend since college. He would understand, he had always been there through thick and thin. I hit call and waited, tapping my fingers anxiously on the steering wheel. "Hey, man. What's up?" Jake answered, his voice upbeat and cheerful, oblivious to the storm brewing within me. "Can you meet me at the tavern?" "We need to talk," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Sure thing. I'll be there in 20. As I drove to the bar, my mind raced with images of Emily and her lover. I couldn't shake the anger bubbling within me. The thought of her with another man, the way she had betrayed me, ignited a fire that demanded to be fed. When I arrived at the tavern, a local spot filled with the buzz of laughter and clinking glasses, I found Jake seated at a corner table. He looked up and waved, his face lighting up. But when he saw my expression, his smile faltered. "James, what's wrong?" he asked, concern etched on his face as I slid into the booth across from him. "I caught Emily cheating on me," I said, the words tumbling out with a weight I hadn't anticipated. "What?" Jake exclaimed, his eyes widening in shock. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious," I replied, feeling the anger bubble back up. "I walked in on her at her office, half naked on her knees with some guy. It's been going on for months." "Damn, man," Jake said, running a hand through his hair. "I'm so sorry. What are you going to do?" "I'm going to ruin her life," I declared, my voice firm. "She thinks she can betray me and walk away unscathed. I won't let that happen." Jake leaned in, his expression serious. "What do you have in mind?" "I don't know yet," I admitted, my mind racing. "But I want her to feel the pain she's caused me. I want to make sure she regrets this." He nodded slowly, contemplating. "Maybe you could expose her. People at work would love to know what kind of person she really is." "That's a good start," I said, my mind racing with possibilities. "I can send anonymous tips, maybe even gather some evidence to show her coworkers. She prides herself on being the perfect employee." "Sounds like a solid plan," Jake encouraged. "But you have to be careful. Don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. You don't want to end up in a bad situation." I took a deep breath, knowing he was right. "You're right. I need to think this through." We ordered drinks, and as I took a sip of my beer, the adrenaline surged within me. I could already picture Emily's face when the truth came out. It would be a deliciously sweet moment. "Do you need help with any of this?" Jake asked, his loyalty unwavering. Yeah, I might need some backup. I'll figure out how to gather evidence and keep you posted. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of strategizing and plotting. I felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with bitterness. It was a dangerous cocktail, but it fueled my resolve. I would not be the victim in this story. As I left the bar, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was stepping into a dark, twisted game. The sun had set, and the streets were illuminated by the soft glow of streetlights. I drove home, the familiar route feeling foreign, each turn echoing the betrayal that had shattered my world. When I reached home, I grabbed my laptop and settled in at the kitchen table, the screen lighting up the darkness around me. I began to formulate my plan, piecing together how I would execute my revenge. First, I decided to check her social media. Emily had always been active online, and I knew she often shared photos from work events and happy moments, presenting a perfect life. I logged into my account and searched for her posts, scrolling through countless pictures of smiles and laughter. It sickened me. Then, I found a recent post from a work event. In the background, I could see a familiar face, her lover. A seed of an idea sprouted in my mind. If I could gather enough information about him, I could use it to my advantage. I began digging deeper, scrolling through their mutual friends, searching for connections, and piecing together their shared online interactions. Each click felt like a step closer to my goal. I felt the thrill of revenge coursing through my veins. Suddenly, a notification popped up, a friend request from one of Emily's coworkers. I hesitated for a moment before clicking accept. This could be my in. I could gather information and possibly find out how many people knew about her infidelity. As the hours passed, I felt an exhilarating sense of purpose driving me. I would not rest until I had uncovered every detail and exposed her for the fraud she truly was. This was only the beginning of my journey, and I was ready for whatever it took to make her pay for the betrayal. The next morning, the sunlight streams through my bedroom window, illuminating the remnants of last night's fury. I haven't slept well, my mind racing with thoughts of revenge and retribution. I rise, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins, and head to the kitchen to grab a cup of coffee. My phone buzzes on the counter, and I glance at it. Jake's name lights up the screen. Hey, I answer, my voice hoarse. Good morning, detective. Any updates? Jake asks, his tone light but serious. I've been digging through Emily's social media, looking for anything I can use. I think I've got a lead on her boyfriend, I say, feeling a surge of satisfaction. Nice. What do you have? I take a sip of my coffee, steeling myself. There's a guy named Alex who keeps popping up in her posts. He's in a lot of pictures with her at work events and social gatherings. It seems like they're pretty close. Sounds like a solid suspect. Do you have any dirt on him? Jake's voice is filled with enthusiasm, and it makes me feel a little lighter. Not yet, but I plan to dig deeper. I'm thinking of going to her office today, maybe play it cool and see what I can find out. That's risky, man. You sure you want to do that? Absolutely. I need to see for myself if they're still together, and if I can get any proof of this affair, I say, determination fueling my words. Just be careful. Call me later, okay? Jake says before hanging up. With renewed purpose, I finish my coffee and get dressed. I choose a casual outfit, aiming for an approachable look. As I drive to Emily's office, anxiety twists in my stomach, but I push it down. I'm not going to let fear stop me from getting what I want. I pull into the parking lot and take a moment to gather my thoughts. The building looms before me, a stark reminder of everything that has changed. I step out of my car, my heart pounding with anticipation. As I walk through the front entrance, I'm greeted by the receptionist, who raises an eyebrow but quickly masks his expression. Back again, he asks, a hint of amusement in his voice. Just visiting Emily, I reply, forcing a smile. Is she in? Yeah, she's in her office. You can head right in, he says, his voice laced with something I can't quite place, something almost conspiratorial. I nod, feeling a mix of dread and determination. I walk down the hallway, the familiar scent of office supplies and cleaning products filling the air. Each step feels heavier than the last as I approach her office door. I knock lightly, and a moment later, I hear Emily's voice calling me in. I push the door open, feigning nonchalance. Hey, surprise. I say, trying to sound cheerful. Emily looks up from her desk, her eyes widening in surprise. James. What are you doing here? I just thought I'd stop by and see you, I say, keeping my tone light, masking the turmoil within. Happy anniversary again. She forces a smile, but there's something off in her demeanor. Thanks. I didn't expect to see you today. I just wanted to drop off some lunch, I say, pulling out a takeout container from my bag. I know how busy you get. That's really thoughtful of you, she replies, a hint of uncertainty creeping into her voice. We sit across from each other, and I can't help but notice the tension in the air. I take a bite of my food, watching her closely. So, how's work been? I ask casually, hoping to glean some information. It's been okay. Just the usual, she replies, avoiding eye contact. Any big projects coming up? I press, trying to steer the conversation where I want it to go. Nothing too major, she says quickly. Just then, there's a knock on the door, and I feel my heart race. Emily's expression shifts from surprise to dread as she glances at the door. I can sense she's anxious about who's on the other side. Come in, she calls, her voice a little too high-pitched. The door swings open, and in walks Alex, tall, charming, and far too confident for my liking. My stomach churns at the sight of him. He flashes a grin at Emily, and my blood boils. Hey, Emily. Just checking on you, he says, his voice smooth like silk. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to remain calm. Oh, hey, Alex, I say, trying to sound casual. Emily's face pales as she looks between us. James, this is Alex. He's a co-worker, she says, her voice strained. Nice to meet you, Alex replies, offering a hand. I can't help but feel the urge to crush it, to show him that I know what he's done. I shake his hand, my grip firm. Yeah, nice to meet you too, I say, forcing a smile. We exchange pleasantries, but the tension is palpable. I can see the way Emily shifts uncomfortably in her chair, her eyes darting between us. I decide to play my hand carefully. So, Alex, how long have you and Emily worked together? I ask, keeping my voice light and friendly. About a year, he replies casually, leaning against the door frame with an air of confidence. We've collaborated on a few projects. Sounds great, I say, injecting false enthusiasm into my words. You two must have a lot of fun at work. Definitely, Alex says, flashing a smile at Emily that makes my stomach turn. Emily's phone buzzes on the desk, breaking the moment. She picks it up and glances at the screen. Panic flickers across her face. I need to take this, she stammers, quickly exiting the office. As soon as she's gone, the atmosphere shifts. Alex steps closer, a cocky smile plastered on his face. You don't seem like the type to just drop by for lunch, he says, his tone mocking. I take a step forward, my fists clenched at my sides. What do you think you're doing with my wife? I say, my voice low and menacing. His grin falters for a moment before he regains his composure. We're just friends, man. You know how it is in the office. Friends don't get that close, I retort, my anger boiling over. You're sleeping with her, aren't you? He smirks, leaning back against the wall. That's your problem, not mine. My blood runs hot, and I take a step toward him. I will make you regret this, I hiss. Is that a threat? He asks, crossing his arms, his bravado irritating me further. It's a promise, I reply, my voice steady despite the fury inside me. Just then, Emily re-enters the room, her face pale as she takes in the tension. What's going on? She asks, her voice shaky. Nothing, just a little chat, Alex says, flashing her a disarming smile. I shoot him a glare before turning back to Emily. We were just discussing how close you two have become, I say, my tone icy. Emily's eyes widen, panic flaring. James, please, it's not what you think. But I don't give her a chance to explain. I know exactly what it is, I reply coldly. And you should know I won't just let this go. With that, I storm out of the office, the weight of betrayal heavy on my shoulders. As I walk through the hallway, I can feel their eyes on me, and it only fuels my determination. I will gather the evidence I need and bring her world crashing down. This is far from over. I will not be the one left broken. I step into the parking lot, breathing in the crisp air, my mind racing. I have a plan now, one that will expose her lies and destroy the life she has built on deceit. The feeling of vengeance is intoxicating, and I know I'm ready to see this through to the bitter end. The days pass in a blur, each one filled with a sense of impending doom for Emily and Alex. I meticulously gather evidence, compiling screenshots of their social media interactions and snippets of conversations I overhear at the office. My heart races as I prepare to expose their betrayal. I want them to feel the weight of their deceit, the same way it has crushed me. On the day of the annual company gala, I put my plan into action. I know Emily will be there, and Alex will be her date. It's the perfect setting for my grand reveal. I arrive at the venue early, an elegant hotel with grand chandeliers and soft music playing in the background. Guests mingle, laughter echoing around me, but all I can think about is the chaos I'm about to unleash. As I navigate through the crowd, I spot Emily in a stunning red dress, laughing with a group of her coworkers. My heart clenches at the sight of her, radiant and carefree, unaware of the storm brewing around her. Alex stands beside her, his arm casually draped around her waist, a smug look on his face that makes my blood boil. I pull out my phone, tapping the screen to share a live update with Jake, who's positioned discreetly across the room, ready to back me up. The anticipation builds within me as I record a video of Emily and Alex, their playful banter painting a picture of happiness that I know is a lie. With a deep breath, I make my way toward them, determination fueling my steps. I can feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me, and as I approach, I can sense Emily's laughter fading as she catches sight of me. James! What are you doing here? She asks, her voice rising in pitch, betraying her nervousness. I came to see the show, I reply, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Or should I say, the performance? Emily's eyes widen in confusion, but before she can respond, I turn my attention to Alex. You think you're so slick, don't you? Playing the hero while stealing another man's wife. Back off, man. This is between you and Emily, Alex retorts, his bravado faltering slightly under my piercing gaze. I'm not going to back off. Not now, not ever, I say, my tone cold as ice. You both deserve to see the truth. With a swift motion, I pull out my phone and hit play on the video I recorded, the sound filling the air. The laughter and flirtation they shared come through loud and clear, and the room falls silent as the reality of their betrayal sinks in. Emily's face pales, the color draining from her cheeks as she watches her own deception play out before her. James, please, I can explain, she pleads, desperation creeping into her voice. Explain what? How you betrayed me with this loser. I shoot back, my voice rising. You think I would stand idly by while you both destroy everything we built together? The crowd begins to murmur, heads turning as the scandal unfolds before their eyes. I can feel the rush of adrenaline coursing through me. I am no longer the victim. I am the one taking control. You're pathetic, James, Alex sneers, stepping forward as if to challenge me. This is just sad. But before he can finish, I shove him back, the rage boiling over. You think you can just take what's mine and get away with it? I'll make sure everyone knows the truth about you both. The guests around us are watching, some taking out their phones to record the spectacle. Emily's eyes widen in fear as she realizes the weight of my words. James, stop. You're making a scene, she cries, but it only fuels my determination. No, Emily. You made the scene when you decided to betray me. Now everyone is going to know what a lying, cheating person you are, I hiss, my voice low and dangerous. With that, I turn to the crowd, raising my voice. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the real Emily, your perfect employee, who has been playing you all while sleeping with her coworker. I gesture toward Alex, who stands frozen, shock etched on his face. The murmurs of disbelief ripple through the crowd, and I can see the looks of confusion and betrayal on the faces of her friends and colleagues. Emily's facade crumbles as the truth washes over her like a tidal wave. She stumbles backward, her eyes brimming with tears. You'll regret this, James, she manages to say, her voice shaking. I'm already regretting the time I wasted with you, I shoot back, my heart heavy with the weight of everything that's transpired. The adrenaline surges as I realize how liberating it feels to finally take control. As the crowd continues to whisper and speculate, I hear someone behind me. It's Jake, stepping forward to stand beside me. Let's go, man. This isn't worth it, he says, placing a hand on my shoulder. But I shake my head, unwilling to back down now. No, Jake. This is my moment. They need to know what she did. With one final look at Emily, I see the devastation etched on her face, and for a brief moment, I feel a pang of sorrow. But then I remember the betrayal, the lies, and the heartbreak. I won't let her manipulate me anymore. This isn't over, James, she says, her voice cold and steady. You think this will destroy me? I'll come back stronger. Good luck with that, I reply, my voice dripping with disdain. You're the one who's lost everything. With that, I turn on my heel and walk away, Jake following closely behind. The chaos unfolds behind me as I exit the venue, the weight of the truth finally lifting from my shoulders. The air outside feels different, lighter, somehow. I take a deep breath, knowing that I've closed that chapter of my life for good. Emily's betrayal will haunt her, just as it has haunted me. And as for Alex, he'll have to deal with the fallout of his choices. In that moment, I realize that while the scars of betrayal may never fully heal, I am free. Free to rebuild my life without the shadows of deceit hanging over me. I may have lost a part of my past, but I've gained something invaluable, a newfound strength and the promise of a brighter future.